Okay, so here's how to hook Knack up with AI. So we have a very simple Knack app here. We have a table of articles, and each article has a title, content, and summary. And we also have user roles enabled, so we need to log in to view pages. If I can over in pages now, we have a public homepage which has nothing on it, and then we have two login protected pages. The first, you can submit a new article. The other one, you can view a list of articles and their summary, and click through to view the full article details, including the title, summary, and content. So over in the front end, we can see that in action. I can submit a new article, and then that will appear in my table of articles, and I've just got a few random test ones in there. So if I click through to view one article, I can see title, summary, and content. So our objective here is to use AI to generate a summary. This could be useful in a number of different ways. Let's say this is an app where people are submitting articles for review and maybe inclusion on some directory. And to save the reviewer time, we want to generate a summary, and that might help them not have to read through the full article of all of the articles, and they might just pick out the ones that look interesting based on their summary, something like that. We don't want people to actually have to write their own summary. We want to generate that with AI. So here's how we're going to do that. So we're going to use Make. A free account would be enough. And we're also going to use OpenAI, their API, and we're going to use Knack. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a new scenario in my already existing Make account. And I'm going to add a trigger based on Knack once it loads. Okay, so I'm going to go new event. I'm going to add a new webhook. This will be of new article. I've already hooked up my Knack up to Make, but that's very easy to do if you haven't. And it's going to trigger on a record creation in the articles object. So if I save that, and once it kind of refreshes, I should be able to test it out. Okay, so I'm going to click OK there. And I'm going to click Run once to make it start listening. So now if I go over to my app and I submit an article, I'm just going to copy the text of an article that I have open here. And I'm going to call this. If I submit this article, I should see that it triggers and shows up in Make. Here we go. So it stopped listening, and now it's discovered this article that I just submitted here. So I can click into it and have a look. Here's my article text. Cool. So now we need to get we need to get AI to create a summary for us. So I'm going to hook up another module, and I'm going to say OpenAI. I'm typing to bring up OpenAI once it loads. There it is. So I select OpenAI, and there's a bunch of different options here. What we want is create chat completion. Okay, so now we need to create a connection. So I have already made an OpenAI account, and I've gone to the API section. Now I need to make a secret key, and I'm going to call it add demo. I'm going to delete this key once the video is finished, so there's no point trying to use my API key. Okay, so now I can go back to Make, and I can create a connection. I can say my OpenAI account, and I'm going to click Save. Now it should authorize. And once it loads, so I'm creating chat completion. There's a bunch of different models you can use. I'm just going to go with GPT 3.5 Turbo, which is the second most recent one and pretty efficient, but not as expensive as some of the other ones. And then I need to choose what message I send it. So I'm going to add an item. So role is system, user, or assistant. So usually as a user, we're going to be asking a question, and the assistant is going to respond, which is the AI. So I'm going to say I'm the user, and I want to say summarize the article below in 2 sentences. Here is the article, and I'm going to fill in my article, which is from Knack in field 7 there. Cool. Now, one other thing I need to do, I can go into the advanced options somewhere. There we go, show advanced settings. And I want to change the max tokens. So 16 tokens is not that many. I want to give it a bit more budget of how many tokens I can use to answer me. So I'm going to set that to 300. Okay, so now let's run it through and see what happens. All right, so we're going to try again submitting our article. Copy it again. Paste it in there. and I'm going to submit. And now it's found that record, and now OpenAI has run. So let's see what it says. So choices. So OpenAI responds with one or more choices, one by default. So that's what we're seeing here. Now each choice has a message, and we can see the assistant replied, and here is its content. So we can see that it's done 2-sentence response. So that's great. The last thing we want to do is save that to our Knack record that we just created. So let's do that. We'll go update a record in our demo app. We're going to update an article. We're going to choose the record ID from our article that we triggered on. We're going to leave the title and content unchanged, but we're going to add our summary from OpenAI. So we had it before: choices, message, content. Now we're going to go OK. And then we'll be able to turn that on and exit and save changes. Right. Now I'm going to try it out. One more time, copy my article, copy it in, and click submit. We should see make start to run. And it seems to have all succeeded. So now let's go to my list of articles. Here's my final article, and here's my summary generated by OpenAI, which seems decent enough. So now that you've got the basics hooked up, you can do any number of things with this. You could get different choices. You can ask it to do different things. You can get it to generate images. Anything that AI can do, basically, we can do hooked up to a Knack app. So then your work just becomes learning how to prompt engineer in OpenAI or other AI tools and going from there. So that's that.